is Kara, and today I'm going to show you how to make a chunky knit bralette. So this is a tutorial for my chunky gapesent matched top, and I am wearing it here. I love making these. I've made them in like a dozen different colors, and they only take about a skein or two of yarn depending on what size you're making, and they only take me about an hour, but it can take you about 2 hours because I'm kind of a fast knitter. So you can make this cropped. Obviously, I like things cropped. You can make it a little bit longer. They're great for the summer because you can just like wear cool pants with them or shorts. As it gets colder, you can make the matching cardigan so you get up the full set. And let's get into it. First, for sizing, I recommend finding a bralette that fits you how you want your top to fit you and measuring it flat and comparing it to the chart to choose out your size. For materials, you're going to need yarn, and how much you need depends on what size you're making, and I'll detail more about that in the pattern itself. This pattern is written for super chunky yarn, and I don't recommend making it in any yarn that isn't super chunky because it won't turn out right. But I do have a lighter weight version of this pattern available on my Etsy website and Ravelry. So, a bunch of different recommendations of yarns you can use. This one's made in Malabrigo Rasta in the colorway Lettuce. I have one here that's made in Wool and the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool in Bubblegum Blue. You can play around, try a bunch of different yarns, but make sure that it's super chunky. So you'll also need 12mm circular needles, and they do need to be circular because you're going to be knitting in the round. Optionally, you can also have 12mm double pointed needles, and this is just for the I-cord that you're going to be making. And you'll need stitch markers, a tapestry needle, and scissors. So for our first step, we're going to be casting on, and we're going to be using a long tail cast on method here just because we want that stretchy cast on edge. I have a more detailed video on how to do that. Once we've cast it on, we're going to be joining in the round, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can join in the round. This is how I do it. The first row is always the trickiest, so I kind of like to use a magic loop method here because it's hard to get all the stitches to join. In order to join in the round, we are going to take the stitch from our left needle and pull it onto our right. We're going to pull a stitch from our right needle and pull that over that stitch. And you can use your finger to hold on to that other stitch so it doesn't fall off. Then we're just going to tighten all of our yarn in case it got stretched out. Then we're going to place our stitch marker. Once we've joined in the round, we're going to start with our ribbing. And the ribbing will just make sure that the top doesn't roll at the bottom. And I like to just do one row here, but you can add as many rows as you like. Now we're going to place a marker halfway through our stitches, and this will just tell us where we need to do our increases. Once you've placed the marker, just knit all the stitches. We'll now continue to add length to our top and actually start increases as well. So you're going to be doing a right leaning and a left leaning increase, and I'll show you how to do that here. First, we're going to do a right leaning increase, and you're going to find the bar between the stitches, and it's helpful if you use your nail. You're going to place it on your left needle, going from the back to the front, and just knit that stitch normally. Then you're going to keep on knitting normally. And now we're going to do a left leaning increase. So find that same bar and place it on your left needle, but going from the front to the back, and knit this stitch through the back loop. Now we're going to be doing some decreases, and so you're going to be doing a left leaning and a right leaning decrease. For our left leaning decrease, we are going to slip 2 stitches as if to knit, then we are going to knit them together. And this is called SSK, or slip slip knit 2 together. Now for knit 2 together, we're just going to insert a needle into 2 stitches and knit them together. This is a right leaning decrease. Once we finish adding length and increases to the body, we're now going to be shaping the front. So cast off all the stitches of the back, and now you're going to be knitting flat. So before you were knitting in the round, and now you're going to be knitting back and forth. So that's knitting flat. Now we're going to be adding length to our straps, and we're going to be making an I-cord here. This is when I like to use my double pointed needles because it's convenient because you can knit from either side of the needle. You can also use your circular needles as well. You just have to put these stitches for the other strap on hold somewhere, and I'll show you how to use both methods. So you are going to take these stitches for your circular needles and place them on the double pointed needles. And to knit an I-cord, you're just constantly knitting stitches, so you're just going to knit these stitches for the strap. And instead of turning your work now, you're just going to slide the stitches over and you're just going to keep on knitting. And that's how you do an I-cord with double pointed needles. Now to make an I-cord with our circular needles, we are going to do something very similar. We're just going to drag our circular needles through the stitches and just keep on knitting. And just drag our stitches through the circular needles and keep on knitting. To finish the I-cord, you're just going to leave a long tail, and this is for seaming, and just thread the tail through the 2 stitches and pull. And that's how you bind off I-cord. In order to reattach our yarn to the other side, we are going to take our stitches that were on hold, and we're going to take our needle, insert it into the stitch as if we're already knitting, and just loop the yarn over as if we've already had it attached. To seam in our strap, we are going to need our tapestry needle. So take your tapestry needle and take the long tail that you left for the I-cord and thread the needle. So first things first, make sure that your strap isn't twisted. And then you're just going to go straight down to the body, and you're going to go insert your needle into the body and insert it into the strap and go back and forth a few times just to secure it. And then once you're done, you're going to knot it just to make sure that the strap doesn't come undone, and then weave in your ends. A gap from reattaching a yarn, and this is how I like to clean things up. I'm going to use my tail for my reattaching the yarn, and I'm going to insert my needle into the top V of the neckline. And I'm going to pull my yarn through, then I'm going to insert into the strap, and make sure that you don't pull too tight, otherwise it'll be pretty clear that you clean things up. And once you're done with that, tie a knot and weave in your ends. That's the entire top. It's a super fun and quick knit. I made a rainbow of these last summer, and I hope you do too. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or leave a comment. Thank you so much for supporting me and my patterns, and hope you have a lovely rest of your day. See ya!